motivation to play?
Yeah, it was the beating. I mean, they just dominated the football game. You got to give credit to them. I believe six possessions. I don't have a drive chart in front of me, but I believe 6 possessions, 7 touchdowns. First half, we shortened the game, which was kind of our plan going into it. Offense had 3 real drives. They had 4 real drives, which is good when you play a game like that. But we couldn't finish in the red zone again, which was catastrophic. And then they did, and they finished with scores. That just can't happen versus a team that is good with the lead, right? So we just can't give up leads to teams that are good with the lead. We play into their hand.
What kind of keep the struggles against the run game tonight?
Yeah, they do a really good job. I mean, they're triple option. They put in big O linemen as their tight end, and they say, we're going to move you the other direction. And they moved us the other direction. Then we have to tackle them. They did a really good job tackling. And then they do a good job schematically. They read our 3 technique on a play that scored a touchdown, right? They haven't shown to do that. It was called midline, and it scored. That's coaching touchdown, right? Good scheme by them. Like, they got us. That's going to happen. They did some really good things. I mean, they beat us as a whole program. They jumped our guard with his head down on field goal, which has showed up a few times this year. So good scheme by them. We got to be better at that as a staff to make sure that doesn't show up again. So, I mean, they just beat us top to bottom. The best part about football is it's only worth 1. They don't add up the scores at the end of the year and say what was your total score. They just put 1 L in there, and hopefully we can move on.
Was it really just an extra deflating, if you will, to have an 8+ minute drive and have that blocked field goal? I mean, I don't know if that was a turning point in the game, but did that really maybe?
Yeah, that was a turning point, 100%. I mean, we're about to go down 8. We're about to kick the ball off. 1-score game if we do that, and kick the ball off. Hopefully get a stop. Maybe not. Even if we don't, we're only down 2 possessions going into the half from that perspective. So yeah, that was absolutely catastrophic, changing the game. That really flipped everything.
That blocked field goal being a part of the middle 8 minutes of the game, outscored 14-0 across that period. What, from an execution standpoint, stood out to you? Yeah. That you would like to see fixed going forward? Yeah,
obviously, they just ran the ball right at us. I mean, I think they had, I don't know our first half stats, but it had to be at least 150 plus rushing yards in the first half. I mean, we couldn't stop them. And then for us, obviously the blocked kick, we're getting stopped twice in the red zone on 2 14-plus play drives. I mean, you had 3 drives versus a really good defense, and 2 of them go 14 or more plays. I would think we'd be okay, we're in this thing. If you would have told me that would have been the scenario, it was 3 drives in the first half, 2 of them went for 14 plays, and that was not quite the scenario because we got our butt kicked in the red zone, and then we couldn't stop them, and then special teams gives up a critical blocked field goal.
Coach, how would you evaluate Jeff Sims' performance tonight?
I thought he played pretty well. I mean, I think there's a few throws, obviously, like that back, like every quarterback, but he extended plays, extended some third down and some fourth downs for first downs. Obviously the timing, I think the more he's back there, the more better timing he'll get with the guys. Obviously, early in the game, it was rainy, so it's hard to, judge that. It's just hard to judge throwing the ball in 15, 20-mile-per-hour winds and rain. The second half, you saw he threw a couple that were pretty good. So I was pleased with his performance.
Were you surprised by just the combination of being out physical and or not executing that well on defense? And is any of that attributable to any emotional feeling after not having Sam?
No, I don't think it was an emotional feeling from that perspective. I think they just fired off the ball. I mean, I wish there was a better way to put it. We got to go back to the fundamentals of defeating blocks and tackling. But, they were running speed sweeps, get to the edge, quarterback +1 run. I mean, anytime you have a quarterback go for 12 yards a carry, 10 rushes for 120 yards, and those aren't scrambles, those are direct runs. I mean, that's the +1 that you get in the triple option game, right? If you look at the running backs, like they ran the ball well, right? But it wasn't nearly as drastic as the quarterback, and the quarterback in the +1, we just couldn't tackle, and they were giving us a lot of schematic issues with the motions and the shifts and putting an extra O lineman on the field. So they just outcoached us, outplayed us, absolutely whooped our butt. I mean, it's the first time we've really gotten gotten whooped like that in a long time. Like I said, I'm glad it's only worth one game. The challenge is, can you flush it enough to make it only worth one game? And that's what I told the team in the locker room. Like, that's the hard part, is how do you get it out of your system, right? And you better do it quick.
How about the offensive line? Obviously struggled a little bit. Then when Ben left the game, it seemed to kind of get worse.
Yeah, obviously the first drive with Ben in the game, we drove down the field. And the first play left, we got a holding call, which really ended that drive, which was catastrophic. And but yeah, we'll see how Ben responds. But yeah, definitely we lost Ben. We had a few other things happen up there. Like I said, I think I said it on the radio, I think we're going to lose 2 or 3 guys for extended period of times from that game. So yeah, we're part of it. It's part of the game. Unfortunate for those guys. But we'll see how it shakes out.
Coach, there was a lot of talk about the Utah offensive line throughout the week. What did you see from that group today and how they're kind of able to negate the defensive line?
Yeah, 42 rushes, 276 yards. It's pretty good. When Coach Whittingham says that's the best O-line he's seen, or he's had, I mean, that tells you all you need to know. And firsthand, I mean, I haven't played them all, but man, that was a good one. And the scheme suits them with the triple and the +1 runs, and they're a hard team to stop. And I was just really, really impressed with how they played, and you got to give them a lot of credit. I mean, that's a really, really good football team.
How important is it to stay focused on the no-name, no-faceless opponent, especially with what you have next week in your building, considering that there's going to be all these emotions and, like you said, potentially more injuries to come? Like, how important is it to have that same mentality?
Yeah, we just have to get better. I mean, that's regardless of who we play, we just have to be a better team. Like I told the guys in the locker room, we got out physical, we got out coached. And you're not going to win a lot of football. Well, you're going to win some football games getting out physical, very rarely. But you're not going to win a ton of football games if you're not the most physical football team. And we were not the most physical football team, and it wasn't even close tonight. And they were. And they play a brand of football that if you're not going to match their physicality, if you're not going to be able to tackle, you have no chance. And that was really what the game came down to was, blocking and tackling. And it's amazing how simple the game is, but that's why they've won for a long time here, is they have a culture where they block and tackle at such a high level. And they blocked and tackled way better than us tonight, and they coached way better than us tonight.
How surprised are you? Because physicality is someplace where you guys have come a long way in the last year. So how surprised were you to be dominated to that extent?
Yeah, I was surprised. It was a lot of missed tackles, on the defense side of the ball. That was what surprised me. We haven't been a team that's missed a lot of tackles. So I don't know why we missed a lot of tackles. And you got to give credit to them for breaking tackles too. But we missed a lot of tackles. I think part of it was the triple option stuff. You got to be fitted perfectly. So maybe we had too many calls going into the game potentially, and guys weren't playing as fast or as comfortable as they have. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing thoughts out there as to why, but that's definitely been something that we've been good at, is blocking and tackling in the last year and a half here, and really good at. That's been a strength, and to just be dominated like that on both sides of the ball and special teams. I mean, they jumped our guard / snapper to block a kick too. So on all 3 phases, just to get out physical like that, I got to look at myself to see what have I done different, which is allowing that to happen.
Is Sam's situation week to week, or how would you characterize it?
I'll say week to week. I think that's the fairest way to put it. I think we'll, evaluate it Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, and then see what happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, then make a decision from there.
Coach, you mentioned flushing this game now. How do you do that for a top 10 matchup against Texas Tech next week at home?
Well, you just described it. I mean, if our guys, want to be, we got probably a top 5 team in the country in Texas Tech. Texas Tech played this team, and they won. And they won the line of scrimmage. So that tells you what their front is like on both sides of the ball. And but that team we played tonight, Utah, is a phenomenal football team, and they're going to win a lot of games. And we got to be able, like I said, you can't lose to a team twice. That's what bad teams do. Bad teams lose to the same team twice. You got to say, we lost. It sucks. Learn from it. And we got to go to the next game.
That's good.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.